So last week, that was the thing. So last week we saw Antoine's new dashboard, and we talked about it, and we tried to say what should be done on top of what he did. And I assume it was merged because I saw some things and some screenshots. Dean made a demo about the secrets management, updated that, and we didn't talk about that, so I will add it to today's agenda, plus whatever you want to talk about if you have any topics. Then demos. Could have expected Antoine.
Antoine, are you going to show some of the new UI stuff you're doing?
Yeah.
Does it mean I should put your name there?
Yes.
Late, but we won't blame them. Antoine, so showing the dashboard.
No, not the dashboard. The
What?
admin UI.
What?
The new dashboard is in progress, but
what?
I cannot show anything.
Okay, something. Did you help, Antoine?
Been a little short on time this week, so I haven't quite got there yet, but we have a plan.
Dean, any demo?
Been a little short on stuff this week, so no.
No, but it's okay. My question was about, did you help Antoine?
Yes. No, we've talked about it, but I haven't had time to work with him on it.
Okay.
But we're going to.
So what did you do last week? So no demo, not helping Antoine?
Fix bugs.
Okay.
Demo next week, new site.
Okay, I'm watching you. Careful. No vacation for you, okay? You can't have that. So, let's see, that's it. Anything else? Anyone else? It's been a long time without new sites. Where are the new sites? Everyone's working on something. Is that shipping?
We'll have a new site to demo next week. It goes live tomorrow.
Okay. 22nd. Do we have a meeting next week? Who won't be there next week? So Dean will be there for a demo. I'm on vacation, but I'm home, like I'm working, so I can do a meeting. Let's see. Okay, I'll try to do a meeting. Nothing should block me. I'm not leaving. Nobody is leaving here. So that status then. Status, lots of things from the 8 at 14. Some more dark mode fixes. Good. And it works. Try it. More. Doesn't really matter, but that's better. Placement list, sticky bar background color consistency. Okay, so fixing some UI stuff. The admin must be perfect. Redis blocks IsLockAcquiredAsync and remove unused Semaphore. Using a lock on Redis, I lock local lock without using Semaphores. Okay, it's optimizing some code here. Well, we assume. Format.js in shortcode template script. Format.js in shortcode templates script. Shortcode templates format.js. Oh, just formatting the JS file here. Okay. Fields display. Revert field. Okay, that's what I was looking for because I saw the question from Antoine, and I agree. We should not do that. We should not try to be deterministic in the way the fields are displayed on the front end. We have placement for that and theming. So we just say it's in the content. Okay, good. I am not talking about that. A little cleanup. Cleanup. Okay, removing what's not used. Comment app settings. Comment app settings. So you decided to comment that. But the previous commit wasn't commenting it. So
there is a reason. It makes it inconsistent with what's in the Nuget packages. And there's a slightly other PR later on, which got merged, which was suffering because it didn't know that they weren't there.
See that? OrchardHelperExtensions. Content localization, OrchardHelperExtensions. Get content culture async. Interesting. So I pass a content item and it gives me the culture.
It's been renamed.
The file was renamed. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Check what it does. Get content culture gives you the culture of the content item by calling into the aspect. Settings group ID. Okay, yeah, you started, I think, last week to fix some of them. Fixing being, but maybe it's working right. It's just that you make it more consistent and it's not a breaking change because they are just local URLs.
Yes.
IsImageExtension, we talked about it last week also. To review that instead of using a regex or something like that to find extensions, we can just use a static array and static hash set in this case, like this, JPEG, and check in ordinal ignore case because that's what the hash set is in, and that's good. Thank you, image file. Perfect. Order deployment plans by name, some UI thing, ignore CodeRush personal settings. Okay. What is CodeRush?
I had to Google it, but it's an IDE that you can buy from somewhere to work with .NET.
Admin menu icons. Admin menu icons.
For taxonomies and Microsoft authentication.
And are they nice? I trust you. And I should, yeah. Okay, so AdminMenuService covering namespace. Okay. Fixes resource dependency accumulation and thread safety. Oh, yeah, so I saw the issue. Wow. Wow. I got some bad echo. Was it from you, Antoine? Okay. No, but I mean the echo. Whoever is not using their headset should just mute themselves. So thread safety. So it's not thread safe, so just removing some code. Oh, no. Okay, I missed a part of the file. Okay. So I need to understand. I saw the issue that was filed, and then I so that Antoine, sorry, Jean-Thierry said he found the reason. Interesting. So how is it not thread safe?
So the reason, excuse me, the reason was that in the first one where it's setting where it's been removed, sometimes that comes from a singleton. Sometimes the resource definition's held in a singleton by the resource providers. So it was continuing to accumulate in that singleton until it exploded the list size.
Oh, that's bad.
That is bad.
Interesting. So you found that. Okay, so that's good. So the issue was closed and this bug was fixed. Interesting. Beautiful. Display drivers. Names. Names.
Yes.
We have the best names. And whoa, and file renames also. Be careful. Okay, no case issue. Okay. Notifier messages. Antoine. So okay. Dots. Rename into recipe file into blank. What was the previous name?
Empty.
What?
Empty.
Empty now. Okay. GraphiQL 1.2. I just want to know whenever I see file name change, because we know that if we change the case only, we are messing up with everyone. So we need to have a commit to delete and a commit to create. That's bad. GraphiQL. Remove some await. Remove some await. Here, nothing was removed, just the curly braces. Here, the change render when. Okay, no, because it's accepting a task of bool, so that will work this way because of IsImageExtension is a task of bool. Okay. Yeah, that's better to not have the weight if you don't need them. But it's not a huge matter. And here in this case, what's the difference? And yeah, okay, that's nothing special here. Okay, well, small refactorings. You can see when Jean-Thierry is looking for some work, we need to give him big tasks to work on. So this one, AdminMenuSearch with inner case, okay. Well, that's the filter. AdminMenu filter. Makes sense to look like this. Filter renaming. Oh, that's data loader extensions. Get or add publish content item by ID. Oh, this is GraphiQL, so this won't break anyone. That's good. Fix AdminUrlPrefix in block recipe. Ah, that's what I said. Because it was hard coded there. But then you can add the configuration back after that.
So, I mean, that will read it from configuration, but you see on the end of it there, it passes a default. And the default was missing originally on this PR because it was on the dev source code where it's actually set.
Okay.
Or it was set because it wasn't commented out. But in a NuGet template, the default or the app settings won't be there by default, so we need to provide the default.
Okay. Bug ini dependable. It's been a long time. Because we have two files, two packages. Bulk, okay. Add space before hint. Correct. What is that? Class float. Okay, that's a hint. Yes. I need a space. Oh, because otherwise there is no space between the name. Okay, interesting. Summary manager. Okay. Change background color on hover item. List. Nuget Plum tenant recipes. To order the list. Tenant recipes. Why recipe or recipe collection?
Yeah.
Oh, in the drop down, that's what you say. Okay.
Yes.
Refactor media tokens. Okay, what's this one?
So this is reasonably big, and I should probably explain it. So a little while ago, we added the tokenized or the token to the media path or the media module when we added the anchors and the other new features for that. But we were encrypting it with the data protector and then caching that value. But every time we restarted the server, the data protector would give it a different value, which was breaking the browser cache and the CDN cache when I started working with it. So I've refactored it to use a hash, like an HMAC, rather than using the data protection provider. So it's no longer encrypted, and at the end of the query string, it puts a token with the hash of the values that are in the query string, keyed uniquely per server.
So it's just a hash, it's not encrypted anymore.
So it's no longer encrypted because
So it's
when you encrypt the same value with the data protector, every time you encrypt it, you get a different output because it's, and this was just didn't think this one through properly, to be honest. Yeah, every time you encrypt something, you get a different output because it's encryption.
But then does it mean that you get the value from memory all the time?
With the data protector, or with the hash that I've replaced it with.
Okay, I need to understand that. Tokens, what's interesting here? So on the URL, it's just a hash. It's not some encrypted value.
It's a hash of the query string.
Okay, so it's a hash. It's not encrypted value.
Yeah,
it's a hash.
it's not an encrypted value. It's an HMAC. So it's a hash of query string based on a unique key that is unique to the server. So if I did it on server A and server like staging server, it would be different. So it's more obfuscation than it is.
Yeah, it's not my concern. So the request comes to the server with the token, and then how do you get the query string?
The request is built by the server when you build a page, and it operates in the same way. It's built by the Razor page, which adds it to the media fields path or URL. So it works in a very similar way. It's just the value is tacked on at the end of the query string rather than being in a fully encrypted query string.
And so my question is more about the query string. To get the query string on the server side from the commands from the image middleware, you have to look up in the memory.
Yeah, so we still memory cache it. It's the file above what you've got open there, actually, media image configuration.
So then what did you fix? Because you said if you restart.
So the thing that I fixed is that if you restart it, the HMAC that it generates now, or that it builds, will be the same.
Now it's deterministic. But if you restart and you haven't been to the page yet, you still don't have it.
No, so if the browser has it while the server's restarting, it'll send it down. The middleware will rehash it based on the server's key and validate whether it matches what it's expecting.
But if you request again the page and not the image directly.
No, if you request the image directly, it will do that.
Can you repeat that? It won't do that, right? Sorry,
it will do that. If you request the image, yeah, it will.
How is that possible? Because it doesn't know what you're asking for. The image sharp filter won't be able to know what.
So the image sharp filter receives the query string with the token on the end of it, and it calculates the hash of other values in the query string in the same way that it was working before.
But it doesn't. Where is it getting the query string values? Because it's hashed now.
The query string themselves is not hashed. It's just a hash on the end of it, so it's part of the query string.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, that wasn't clear.
Is that new, or was it already the same way before?
No, that is new. So it is quite different now.
That's new in this PR.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I get it. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad I asked. And I will assume that I was not the only one not understanding the difference, hoping that you understood before. So before the query string part of the image that is cropped and whatever, the query string part was some encoded value, encrypted value. So you had no idea what it had inside. And the server will decrypt or encrypt that value and get the actual parameters of that. So nobody can forge the query string with height and whatever and create as many images as they wanted, because you could not build such an encrypted value from the client side. But now what you did is, no, everything is public. You can see it. But to be sure that it has been generated by the server, we provide also a hash of these values. And if the values you provide to the server for the width and height don't match the hash, then we say, no, it's not possible. It's like an anti-forgery token. So
it is like an anti-forgery token.
So that's good. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but was doing some analysis on it last week when we were trying to get this site live, and just realised that I'd made a mistake there, and in encrypting it wasn't the right way to go.
And you can still cache the hashes, so that you don't have to hash every time there is a request.
Yep, still cache the hashes.
It's good. It's actually even better, right? Where did you find it?
It's actually tidier, because you can still see what values you're trying to produce.
Yeah.
Because you can now read the query string.
Yeah. And what's the size of the hash?
It's much shorter. It's around 64 bytes.
Okay. Interesting. How did you find it? Your brain?
I've been doing some work with getting a site live with a CDN, and I was getting a lot of cache misses every time I was restarting the server for deployment. And as I looked into it, I just went, oh, duh. This is
That's how you found the issue, but the question is, how did you find the solution? Your brain, you can say, I'm clever.
I've been doing some stuff with the secrets module, and this seemed like it was probably the way to go. If anyone has some better ideas, I'm totally open to it.
Good job. So if you guys have any questions, just ask them. Okay, you will find some answers. That's great. Multimedia tokens, recipes, order by display name. I'm sure this pattern we can apply it. There must be some other ways we can use it for some other things. That's great to know. Okay. Recipes, order by display name. Recipes, order by display name. Okay, same thing. But
inside the category of a recipe.
Yeah, sorry. My mind was still on the previous issue. I'm trying to, I have a background task that's running in my brain now. So this one, so AC, missing a wait in places. Okay, well, okay, that's interesting. Why is there any GetAwaiter GetResult here? Is that Din? Copy paste it from somewhere else and.
JT was helping me with this, and he missed it because he was cutting and pasting, and we did it too quickly and merged it too quick. So just fixing that up. Thank you, JT.
Trumbowyg plugins. Well, before I say talk to me. What is that?
I removed the highlight plugin because it needs a Prism.js.
So you removed the plugin, but you didn't fix the issue with the Trumbowyg settings.
It's not about the settings, it's about the plugins.
Okay, well, okay, I will rephrase that. You didn't fix the issue with the plugins. The plugin settings. The one that you can write in JavaScript inside. Like, no, it's not fixed yet, right?
No, no.
Okay, good. Just when I saw that, I'm like, maybe that's the fix. Okay, wait to look into it. Nuget Packages. Okay, list and updates on the versions. Inline tenant status. With icons. Minor changes on the child scope helpers. Okay, not yet used. For me, it means, okay, we can remove it before it's used. Admin link. It's a lot of changes. Oh, I see. This new thing here. So you found many places where it wasn't working. Plus some script here, updates, which has nothing to do with that. App settings. Just documentation.
Pointing to the docs.orchard.net documentation.
Good. Discoverability of the settings. Yeah, that reminds me, I think in the old days, the web config. Like I think the default one was big enough with all the samples and maybe commented, you just had to uncomment it to just use things. Library documentation. Okay. shortcodes 100. Look at that. I read something without the beta. Because people care a lot, like about it's the same. There are as many bugs. There might be more bugs there than there, honestly. But people feel so much safer when there is not a beta version here. And there will be changes also. That's fine. So I put a 100. Next is yes equal Fluid. What else? Gint. Just no beta. So I bumped this one. Big change here is that so David Eden had an issue which is didn't think about it, and I should have asked Dean actually. He would have known. And the issue was that David Eden was trying to write a blog post with some code inside, C# code inside.
That's your issue.
What do you mean?
Sorry.
And in the C# code, there were some attributes. The issue is an attribute is a shortcode. And when you evaluate a shortcode with this library, and if it's unknown, it will just output nothing. So all the attributes from the code were removed when you wrote it in a blog post. So that's bad. So we decided that when a shortcode is unknown or can't be parsed, it will just be outputted as is. So it will replace by shortcode if it matches a known shortcode. So you'd better have, or you'd better not have, a shortcode that is or some code, some attribute that is a known shortcode. Might happen. So what's the other option that we said could be used? Is a way to be able to write raw sections.
Raw was the other thought that I like what you've done here. I think it probably covers most options, and there's still escaping if you did have one that conflicted.
Okay.
It was just, but with the amount David was doing, it was there was a lot of escaping to do, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Who said something?
Could we not just escape things that are inside a code HTML tag?
You don't know. And why HTML? And then we have to parse now HTML, and that was not the goal. And
yeah,
Markdown.
I know, but
and now Markdown. How do you parse Markdown? Is it 1 tick, 3 ticks? And we have to parse the ticks now. So no, you can't. And what I said, I should have known, because I asked Dave Glick, the author of Static Web Framework, the static site generation, because he made something like this also for his own Markdown files. And the syntax he went with, I didn't like. It was more like HTML. It was like maybe the hash char, and then some like lesser than $, something like that. So very ASP-ish, but plus more chars. So there is no ambiguity between HTML and these shortcodes, because he's using that mostly in Razor. Okay, so it's mostly HTML, so he wanted something that could not conflict with HTML. And I didn't like it, so that's why we went with the WordPress syntax. Well, and we also like the WordPress syntax just because it's more ubiquitous than any custom syntax we could make. And I didn't realize that, well, we realized it was conflicting with Markdown, but not with C#. And if it was conflicting with Markdown, it was fine, because when we evaluated it, I think it was already, oh no, it could not conflict with Markdown because it was just URLs and they don't match shortcodes. But I didn't think about other things. So now it's safer, like, well, it's safer. It will render whatever you type if it doesn't know what it is. But yeah, so the idea, and I didn't implement it yet, we can do it as a custom short. Can we do it as a custom shortcode? I'm not sure. Maybe it has to be part of the library, but the next step is to have a shortcode named raw, like we have a liquid tag, so that whatever is inside is not parsed as shortcode. So if there can be a conflict with shortcodes, then you can be explicit about, no, don't parse anything which is inside, just render it as is. So we need a custom shortcode. So that's for the extreme cases. So we will still need that, I think.
This is kind of what I was thinking about. Just like your parser could look at every code HTML tag and just escape every shortcode that could be inside the code HTML tag. But
okay.
Yeah.
So you said you had to change this one? No, not this. Oh, because it's okay. It's on purpose, right? Because it has a different meaning.
So at the start of this file, I think it returns a null if it's not the not the locale tag, which is good. But at the end of it, if it returns a null, then it doesn't get rendered. So it has to return an empty string. I didn't actually see this in your tests, but I wrote a test myself and tested it. And
what do you mean does it get rendered?
Sorry, excuse me. If you were to return null there, then the locale tag wouldn't have been identified as being a valid shortcode, so it would render the locale tag, the locale shortcode, sorry.
Yes, it's like, oh, I don't know what it is, just write what was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, that's on purpose.
I guess somewhere you're doing a null check and a
that's on purpose. The idea is that if there can be a conflict, but your shortcode says no, this is not what I think is good. Like for instance, the arguments are wrong. You don't want to return anything or to write an exception. You just want to say, okay, so I can't interpret that. The arguments are not what I expect, so it must be another shortcode. So you return null to say next. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Then you return something like an empty string. If no, I found it. This is the result. Don't go to the next one. So yes, that's the new behavior. So it's and if there and you say there is no, there might not be a unit test for that, but yeah, that's the behavior. You found it. It's good. That works. Great. Okay, good. Dark mode could not be disabled. So sad. Super dangerous. Casing like this. Because you assume that it's interesting. I think that's something I tried, because when you do a Boolean to string and you're in French culture, what does it print? Because I assume here somewhere in the file you do at something.darkmode, like a setting, and you get the C# or the .NET serialization of the Boolean, and that's why you try that. But that's super dangerous actually, because maybe based on culture that will change. What's the string for true false? I don't think it changes, but it should be case insensitive, or you should do like at a Boolean and then a ternary operator to use a string that you know what it will be. You don't rely on toString because it can change. I tweeted about it, like in .NET 5 compared to .NET 3. If you do a toString on a number, a decimal number, now you will get 3 decimals in French, and 2 in .NET 5 and 2 in .NET 3, because they changed the inner APIs for culture management on .NET Core. Now it's the same behavior on Windows and Linux. They're using the same ICU libraries, so it changed between 5 and 3. Good. Okay, demo time. Demo time, Antoine. Oh, should one. Oh my God. I think we merged something. We didn't. Okay, demo time. Look at that. We can see it, Antoine. We can't hear you. You are muted.
Sorry. Does it work?
Control Shift M, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let me show you some of the changes we made in the admin recently. So we were talking about the admin link. So now when you click, you are on another page in the admin. When you click on this link, you are going back to the /admin URL. And if you want to open the front website, you just need to click on this external icon, external link.
But people who have been using Orchard for 10 years now, Orchard 1 and Orchard Core, how will they handle that? They will be completely confused.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Bertrand who decided that when you click there.
It was confusing to click on this link and to open the front site.
Why are you lying? That's not why you made that. You made the change because you wanted to be able to go to the dashboard with somewhere, and you said, okay, maybe this link should be the dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not because it's confusing. It's because it was not good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I always thought that it was confusing for
after 10 years.
Yeah.
After 10 years, it's not confusing anymore.
Thank you, Jasmin.
Okay.
So we were also talking about the new tenants, where we used an icon to render the state of the tenant. So you will be able to display more lines in one screen. So for example, if you enable the setting to put the titles in the top bar, you should be able to see all the 10 tenants and the pager in one page without scrolling.
I think the little dot should be bigger, to be as big as the font or the checkbox.
Okay.
If you, I was confused when I saw your screenshot. I didn't know what was wrong, so I looked at GitHub right now, and on the issues you can see they have the status like closed, open, and it's actually the same size as the font. Just my point of view. So if you find other, just you're the specialist.
We used the FA-XS class, CSS class.
Yeah, I think it should be like you say, but maybe also before the checkbox, like on GitHub, but it's fine like it is right now.
No, on GitHub, the checkbox is before, like now.
No, it's.
I have it open.
Just if you go to the notification list, yeah, there's a notification.
Notification list. I was looking at the issues.
Yeah, the issue doesn't have that.
Okay, well, yes,
they have an icon after, but now
okay.
You don't have any notifications. So let me add one.
There's everything.
Yeah, there is a little blue dot when.
I will check my notification.
Yeah, you can see. Right. They are before the checkbox.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nicer.
In fact, we should have three things there: an icon, and the dots for the status.
But what will be the icon then?
Yeah, good question.
I know that's good. I like the dots before. It's nice. Yeah, same size as GitHub and boom, done. Sure.
Okay.
And centered horizontally. They're not lined up very well at the moment.
Yeah, the alignment is bad right now.
Yeah, but we can fix that.
Yeah, I was also wondering if we could add that kind of plus menu. That would be something like this new menu in the top nav bar.
Is the top navbar extensible? Did we make it with a custom zone?
There is a zone called navlinks.
Good.
Yeah, so you can add any link you want. For example, that could be also the culture selector, the culture picker.
I've never really liked the new top left menu.
Me neither.
I don't use it much. It's nice to have here. We ported it from Orchard 1, and it has been decided that it was good. Maybe I think it was there from the beginning, right, Bertrand? It was always there. It was always a special one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The issue that I have.
What do we have in terms of customization of the menu, by the way?
Just.
I mean, from the admin.
Right now, you mean, or before?
Yeah.
Right now, we can do everything. It's all dynamic. You can add custom.
Very nice.
Well,
yeah, so you could.
So you missed the demo
if you wanted to, right?
Those two menus are.
We followed what was your feature that we copied? The tree, something, content tree, and things like that. That's where we do the AI, and it's all dynamic. And then Dean made it, and you can add taxonomies. He's driving it also.
Yeah.
And there is a UI, so
blue tree.
It's not only dynamic from the code, but also there is a feature where you can go there and say, I want to add my own menu pointing to there here in the middle. So it's anyone from the admin can add things to the menu dynamically, not just by code.
Oh, it's not working anymore, the drag and drop.
Yeah, that's just
okay. Yeah. And so a PR I am working on that is in progress is about the content items list. The idea is to use 5 columns.
I hate
the title, the tags, the content type, the date and owner, and when you are over a line, we display the buttons, the actions. So,
if you use columns, I want them to be aligned on the right. And then they are not columns, they are like divs that are on a specific size, but not actual columns, because otherwise there is so much space, it's not a line, it's not a line. There is uneven space based on your screen. You see, like, why is there 5 centimeters on the right and the left of the EN tag? Why?
Because sometimes it's aligned on the right and sometimes on the left.
Yeah, so that's why I don't like it. So if you look at the GitHub issues or notification, you will see they have the notion of colon, if you like, but like you said, but you see on the right, these are like of columns, but they are more aligned.
There is a big white space in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, here in your case, you have white space everywhere. That's, I mean.
It's just alignment because you need to float on the right side. Which can be fixed pretty easily.
I prefer this view than the one with the columns.
Yeah, but it's useful for breakpoints because you can hide our. Right now we can't just like break the UI when the window is smaller.
I don't agree. You can still hide things when you can. Oh, I don't agree. You can do whatever you want, even with no columns.
So one of the problems with the columns that are there is that all of those zones, like for published and for the localizations, are zones. And I quite regularly put in extra statuses, but if you put them in a column, then I can't fit my extra statuses in there because you've given me quite a limited size to work with. I really like what you've done. Just the column thing gets me as well.
You are all these styles, and that's 4 columns to display what you want.
I agree. That's good. You can improve that, but you don't need to use columns in the middle. You can align it on the right or on the left, and not break the line. Still.
Okay. And so, as I said, the buttons appear when you are over. What?
So if you do that, you will have to by default define the accessibility tags because there is no way you know what it does. Like if I use an iPad, for instance, how do I know what it does? I hate that. I have to click to know what it does. And I hope it doesn't do something wrong. And here, take your mouse out of the screen. You don't even know you can do something. So if you have a finger, what do?
You click on it.
No, you can't. You don't know there is something to click on.
Hey, okay.
You select and then you see that it's not intuitive at all. Why not just leave it there visible? At least, because otherwise, look at your phone. Whatever phone you have, look at what they show in a list like this to follow the UI guidelines, because otherwise we'll lose some users. I don't know what to do here.
Okay, it was to look like Azure DevOps, the Fluent UI in Azure DevOps.
Do they show hide icons based on when you hover it? I think that's wrong. I would open it on my side, but I think that's wrong.
Maybe buttons like favorite or okay.
Yeah, but I think you can decide how many columns you have also on DevOps, and you can display some and remove some others. Choose the ones that you want. Yeah, which we don't have here, but yeah.
And I made the content type clickable to filter on the content type easily.
Yeah, this could be in the extraneous 3 dots, like, okay. If we still have that thing, yeah, like show me on all of this type instead of showing it on every line.
Which one is published and which one is draft? I can't tell now.
Well, and fortunately, you have a mouse because you can't even tell that there are actually options that you can do, things that you can do if you don't have a mouse.
So if, for example, there is a published version and I make a change. I save a draft. It will be a published version and a draft, a pending draft.
That's weird. To have two.
Yeah, could we not have like one half green, one half blue?
But it's like a state, but you have 2 states here. Why not just use icons?
The current UI it's published draft. The current UI, you have 2 badges, published and draft.
Yeah.
Icons rather than dots, though, maybe we need as well. Like in GitHub there, yes, and the issues or the notifications, you were seeing statuses for what had been done to them, or the actions like merged or stuff, and the pills, the circles were just for marked or unread.
I don't like the buttons here, and while we are at what I don't like, the date. I don't like to see the full date. I like to see the time span like we had before. Did we have it like the 1 minute ago, 1 day ago, and then I prefer that. Talks to me. I don't have to parse in my head what's the day today, and when was it done, like what's the time, and is it UTC or is it local, and I'm lost. So it helps my brain not to think. I know the answer there.
And the opposite, if I want to know when exactly.
Well, you hover it. You should be able to hover it like you can, or thing, to have the full. Yeah, okay. And again, for accessibility, we have all the metadata with the actual date.
The time HTML element. Yeah.
So okay to make it shorter on one line when it can fit. That's a good idea. And but try to find. I don't like the pins. The how do you call that? The buttons. Prefer the when it says draft publish or when you can or icons, not just this is for status. It's weird. And visibility of the actions, what they do with icons or with titles and everything, accessibility, and that I don't have to have a mouse to see that there are actions and over that. Yeah. First, list of feedback on my side, then whatever anyone else wants to add. Also test it on left to right, right to left. Surprises.
Yeah, and it also has an impact on the widgets.
I see, because we reuse that, which is good to be able to reuse with that something.
It has its own layout, but inside of each shape, it's using the rendering.
Okay, so it needs to be compatible, unless we break the widget UI and fix it to adapt to this view or to the necessary to whatever is necessary to make it work in both. Okay.
And you can see the over background
when you're
each line.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So did we have something else from someone else? No. I will talk about the security thing because I didn't last week. Share content. My desktop. Security issues. Someone find an issue. Where is Orchard? Help me find the issue. So someone filed one issue and asked me to contact me offline.
Is it the one about roles?
The what? Which one?
The one about user roles.
Is it one you fixed?
Not yet, but if it's that one that you want to talk about. Second one there, is that the one you're talking about?
No, this one is too early. It was 2 weeks ago. I didn't see this one. I didn't see this one. Did I also got a notification about an XSS this week? But did someone close it because it was already fixed like a month ago? The one with SVG. Did you see that?
I've not. I fixed the SVG one, but that was several months ago.
Yeah, but I saw a notification from this week about that.
Not that rings any bells with me.
Interesting.
Oh, there might have been there was a PR that Hisham did that was slightly related to it that never got merged, maybe. I saw a notification come through about that one.
Okay, so I will look into my notification. Stored crossed. Yeah, so this has been fixed. Or maybe I received it in my emails, but I don't think so. Maybe I will check. Maybe that was it. Maybe actually I received an email, and then yeah, but I will need to answer. I thought it was an issue there. I will check. No, there was another issue. What was it? Someone mentioning. And why did I say it was not an issue? Oh boy. Oh, What is that? Okay, 1 second. I will unshare, look at my emails. I need 1 minute. It should be quick. You can see my screen. Sorry for that. Okay, found one. Okay. Oh, I know. Orchard one. Orchard one. That's why I couldn't find it. It was an issue, Orchard one. Okay, so. Oh. Was recent. Okay, so by. And that's really a tree actually. Okay, I can't find it either. So this one. Yeah, okay. So you remember this one, right? Adding an image with a very long title. That's not that, but I think that's the same user.
Oh, there was something about when you're in one of the editors somewhere.
You can bypass the extensions. Yes. Ah, now it's clear. Okay.
It's extensions. That's right.
The media filter, the media extensions. You can bypass the extensions. So, and the screenshot was old. And Antoine, I'm sure now remembers because he mentioned that at some point. So the issue was actually an issue in 1.8 that we fixed in 2015. And one of the customers of this person, this security researcher, was still using 1.8 with the bug fixes, without the bug fixes, the security fixes that we implemented and shipped in the meantime. And that's what they found. You could submit from Tiny Explorer, TinyMC, or whatever it were using at that time, some custom executables on the media folder. And then people could download it. And it was not taking the media file extension into account. So this has been fixed. And then
yeah, I found you the issue. I sent it in the chat.
And then there was another issue that they reported privately about an XSX, and it was also fixed and discovered internally when it was also related to media extensions. You could, in the old versions of Orchard, you could also write some XSS because of the file extension. So it was also fixed and found internally and shipped. So I suggested them to update to 1.10 or whatever the latest is. So that's good. And also mentioning the one I just mentioned before, which was the SVG one. I saw it somewhere. So I will apparently in my email, someone found again the same issue in RC2. And I think there was a CVE about, no, there might be not a CVE about that. Or maybe there is a SVG. But it was reported. Okay, so just to mention that. Nothing interesting in the end. Just to say, no non-security issue, they're all been fixed, even the ones that they keep finding. Other questions? comments? I saw some activity and interest in the dynamic string localizations. So glad with that. This one and the field synchronization are very important. But it's almost winter break, so which means more time for open source stuff, right? For you and for me. So we'll see what we can do during the break. Okay, good. I'm not even sure if I'm sharing. I am. Did I miss anything? So next week, Sotiri says, I have 1 or 2, so 1.5 new sites to show. Which will be good. So thanks everyone. See you on Thursday for the trial. And we missed you in last week. But that's okay. We won't blame you. And see you next week. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye.